You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell. Sponsored by Absolute Mortgage, a division of Pinnacle Capital Mortgage Corporation. Now, in the studio, local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome back to the Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, October 8th show, bringing in expert advice and inside knowledge on today's events in our local economy and how it can affect your money. If you're hearing my show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast. You can call the show at 1-855-400-1150 or go online to themoneyhour.com to discuss anything regarding money with the guests that I have in studio or myself. And right now I'm having a conversation with Sally Fox with Engaging Presence. Sally, thank you so much for chatting with me again.
Tina, it's always a pleasure to be with you.
And a little bit about Sally. Sally Fox is a coach and consultant who has coached hundreds of professionals to use stories to grow their business and inspire others to take action. Storytelling is a powerful tool in business that helps you connect and engage more effectively with others. Whether you're a small business owner or a team manager, a C-suite executive, or an independent professional, you know the part of your success depends on motivating others. Sally helps you develop stories that will make your message stick. She has delivered business storytelling workshops locally and internationally. She's a professional speaker who can show you how to bring power and pizzazz to your presentation. Sally holds a doctorate in leadership development and an MBA and has brought her institute bottom line approach to producing results to her clients for over 20 years. She has recently chosen to be part of the Selective Forbes Coaching Council. So, Sally, let's just go ahead and start it right out with, what do you mean by your customer story?
Well, your customers will come to you with a need. There's something they want from you. And it's easy to rush in and want to fulfill that need. Or you hear, they want to buy a house and they want to have 4 bedrooms and this and that. And so you spring into action. But if you were interested in sustaining a long-term relationship and really getting to the bottom of what they want, not just what they're telling you, but what's in their heart, then a story is your best friend. Because the story just invites people to go a little bit deeper, bring you into their lives, share what they're really looking for, so that in getting their story, they're likely to trust you more. And they're likely to give you the information that you really need to be able to meet their needs.
So, Sally, what about your story as the business professional and sharing your story with your client? What would you say to that?
Well, I think sharing your story is a powerful place of creating connection and also separating you from the masses. Because, for example, in my trade, maybe like yours, there are hundreds of coaches and consultants. But if I share my story about how I came into my practice of story and how I discovered that story is like the secret ingredient that helps engage people, and what it was like for me to be shifting a presentation I made in a professional audience to a story that I started to perform before professional colleagues, and how that transformed my practice, I give you a little bit of a clue about who I am, and also the distinction of my service that will make me stand out relative to other people. And that's what you want. You want to stand out. Yes. And you want to engage.
You want to stand out and engage, and you want to be able to connect with your clients for them to be able to take action. I always share with people that, when you're trying to communicate a message, a good formula is the why behind it, the benefit if they do, and the risk if they don't. Because ultimately, as business professionals, it's our job to help our clients engage in the level that we know that they need to for them to be successful. And would you agree, Sally, that when you're talking about a risk if somebody that they don't do what they need to do, and a benefit if they do, putting that into a story is going to be more emotionally enabled for them to connect and understand the message you're trying to share?
That's absolutely right. Because underneath it all, what a story gives you is a place of feeling, of emotion, the kind of thing that grips you and makes you want to act in a way that just presenting a list of benefits will never add up to.
Yes. So, Sally, what about your customer sharing that story? How do you get them to do that?
Sharing their story about themselves or sharing their story about you?
Sharing their story about you. Let's talk about that. Because that's really what we want to do as business professionals. We want to build the buzz with our community so that they see the benefit in working with us.
Exactly right. But let's step back for just a moment, because when your clients feel like you're genuinely interested in their story.
Okay.
And maybe in the beginning you seem more interested in their story than telling your story. They're going to feel like you're the kind of person who really gets them. And when they feel that and they feel connected to you, like you are so interested in them, then they can go out and start to talk about you, not out of any spiel that you've given them, but because they've experienced you as being an exceptional listener and somebody who really gets it.
So let's talk about that, Sally, and listening, because we all know as experts and business owners that the key to connecting is listening, but for some reason, it's hard, a lot of people, to let go of the conversation and just listen. So let's talk about the effectiveness, the real effectiveness to listening to your clients.
Right. Well, first of all, I want to give you a little bit of research that I think is going to be interesting to your clients, who are, of course, interested in the management of money. There was a really interesting study done of top financial advisors, the kind of advisors who manage large portfolios and manage anywhere between 20% and 100% of the assets of their, top dollar clients. What they discovered was that there was a quantitative difference between the top advisors who were managing 100% of the assets and the 20% advisors, and that difference was their ability to really listen and hear the stories. The 100% advisors were in there not just getting the facts and listening to the needs, but they wanted to hear their clients' biographies. So they took the time to listen to the biographies, and we're talking multi-millions of dollars.
Yes.
They were the ones who ended up with the big portfolios, not the ones who kind of skimmed through a few questions, but never really took it all in.
No surprise at all with that, Sally. And also it's, by listening and finding out what your client's story is, when you're engaging with them, you can bring that story into the future of whatever product that you're working with to help your clients be successful in their financial life.
And that's a great point, Tina. I love that point, because it's where you start creating the future together.
Yes.
And creating a story about that future. That's when you're really working in tandem, because when you ask people not just what do you want or what your goals are, but tell me a story about what it's going to be like when you move into your new house.
Yes.
Tell me a story about what it's going to be like when you've made the money that you want to make. Then they're giving you the real stuff.
Yes. So now we understand the importance of finding out what your client's story is, sharing your story so you're building that relationship. But are there certain questions and things that you can ask to get your clients to open up and be willing to share?
Yes. You can start. Often I'm going to start with a question that's pretty simple. Tell me about your business, or tell me about what's going on for you right now. I may not start out with a hard-hitting question, that goes straight in and asks them to tell me all their needs. But as they begin to tell that story, no matter what it is, the real trick comes with listening and being able to formulate the question. So you're listening, and I know you do this because you're such a good interviewer. You're listening for, they've just said something that gives me a clue. There's something underneath that. And so you know how to go from listening to creating a story that says, tell me more about that. And you lead from question into question into question. So you might start out very safe and very global, but by the end, you're talking about the specifics of what your client really wants. Got it.
And so let's talk about time, Shelley, or Sally. Oh my God, hold on. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So, Sally, let's go ahead and talk about time because everybody is busy. And, I hear people say whether it's professionals or whether it's consumers, if only I had more time, I would. And, I always tell people just fill in the blank and let's get efficient with our time. But when you're really trying to get people to open up, that can take time. So how can we help our clients slow down and to really be able to take time to think what's important and share that story with us?
Well, there's one thing about clients and customers, and that is that they usually always like to talk about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can feel that you have a genuine interest in their story
Mm-hmm.
and that you have an intent to learn as much as you can about them to really feel who they are and that you really like who they are,
Yes.
so you're really interested. It's kind of amazing that even people who are very stressed and stretched for time may naturally slow down because of how interested you are.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a really big first piece. And also making sure the time is right. Because
Yes.
it's like when people catch you on the street and they call you on your cell and you go, and then they start to ask you a bunch of questions and you go, whoa, I'm in Safeway. This is
Uh-huh.
not the right time. There's also a time and a place to be able to ask those stories. So you
Sure.
want to invite them. Is this a good time for you?
Mm-hmm.
You want to breathe so you don't appear to be in a hurry.
Yes.
And then you want to show such interest that they just kind of fall into your lap and start telling you more and more and more.
And, that's a good point too, Sally, and the importance of really asking the question more than once and getting them to go a little bit deeper, because you can ask somebody what's important about home ownership and, hey, we just don't want to rent anymore. Okay, so that's great in not renting and being a homeowner. What's important to you about that? Well, we're thinking about having kids. Wow, congratulations. So in having a home for your children, what does that look like for you? So really being able to go a little bit deeper, and I like to say it's kind of asking it 3 times in a different way and adding in what they've said so that they really get to that true reason that they want to engage in whatever activity and area that you're trying to help them with.
Totally. I'll give you a story about my real estate agent, Sarah. This was many years ago, but she was helping me find my first house. And I was shopping with a partner that I had at the time. And we went through house after house, and it was just a slog. Nothing was working. But underneath it, the truth was my relationship with this partner wasn't working at all.
Uh-huh.
And as Sarah stayed with me and she listened to my story and she got to know me and she was listening for both what we wanted and what I wanted, she was ready. So when I finally got the light and I split up with this partner, Sarah knew what I was looking for and she knew who I was and she knew I was a single woman who wanted to find a nest that would allow me to support it on my own, but also would be a place where I could build the next relationship.
Sure.
So she was able to have that picture, not just of the rooms and the house, that what the kitchen was like, but what my life should be like. And I tell you, within 1 week of breaking up with this partner, she'd found me my dream house.
Wow.
Because she knew who I was.
Yes,
she
exactly.
knew my story.
So, Sally, I just have a minute here, but I want to ask you something because stories are powerful, whether you're getting to know your clients and their story, sharing your story so they can connect with you, but also being able to share stories of others to help people to be inspired by that person's story.
Right.
So do you have a suggestion of how do you do that? How do you engage and share your client's story to inspire your other clients?
You listen for the drama, and you listen for the transformation.
Okay.
Stories always bring change, beginning, middle, and end. So you want to feel like they have gone from some place before that they weren't really happy with to the new place. You're not the hero of that story, but you're the advisor, the wise guide, the one who was at their side to make it happen. So you look for the story that makes your client the hero, but you show how you were at their side through the whole thing.
Sally, great advice. Thank you so much for spending time with me today and sharing a little bit of advice on storytelling.
It's always a delight. And if anyone's interested, they can contact me at sally@engagingpresence.com. I have a whole handout on how to elicit a great story from your client.
Sally, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Tina. Take care.
Okay. And this is your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, signing off for the day. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, the rest of your weekend. I'll be here, same time, same place, right here on 1150 AM KKNW.